Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to our game number 2 in this best out of 3. You're watching the SEA League with First Departure, the all-Singaporean squad facing off against the Singaporean Pinoy mix, Neo.Int International. Currently, First Departure leads 1-0, and they did it in style with a Doom pick, with an offensive tri-lane Weaver, and some really, well, let's call them shenanigans there in the early game. I'm LD. I'll be on the summit. I'm joined here today by none other than my partner in crime gods. We are David and David, and we're back. Like Doom. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I got tired of farming Dota TV items by watching SEA League. Decided I should pull some weight and actually cast some SEA League.
By the
here I
way,
am.
I've never won anything in Dota TV.
I didn't know you could. And then suddenly, like, some guy messaged me. I was like, "Oh, what item you guys?" Like, I got an item. He's like, "Yeah, you got an item." I was like, "Oh, sweet." And then it was like some crappy bounty hunter shuriken, which is like a common item, but it was like combined with some Mineski player getting a triple kill, so I can probably like sell it to the Pinoy Dota 2 market for like some good money.
We'll see. We'll see about that. I get a lot of key requests from the Pinoys. I don't get many offers to buy my items for cold hard cash, but we'll see. We'll see. On the side of Neo.Int, they go for the early Queen of Pain, so we expect Blah to take that solo mid, and the early support Shadow Demon, who obviously is great at just neutering a Darkseer if that Darkseer is off lane or jungle. So a much more standard start to this draft. The bans also, I think they're similar bans to what we saw last game. But Nyx obviously is not going to be here. That's the one difference this game. And surprising that they let it through in the one game, and then they actually banned it this game. Because they had first pick, but they just were not interested in that Nyx.
Yeah, maybe just something they're not too accustomed to playing here. We'll have to see what they want to go for with this second and third pick. They're at risk of getting Phantom Lancer if they don't do something about it now, because they don't really want to pick it themselves up against the Shadow Demon. I mean, you can. It's not like, oh, they have Shadow Demon, we get countered too hard. Phantom Lancer does still get the best of that matchup, but problem is Neo.Int would love to get something like a Phantom Lance with their third pick. If not, they go for maybe sort of their more old school sort of traditional style of play where they get something like a Luna for Ninja Boogie, which is a lot more stable. I feel that the Shadow Fiend last game was just too weak and got preyed upon too hard by that tri-lane from First Departure, something we could see again with an Undying.
So they get the Rubik, the obviously the great support, and then they go back for the Undying. So they have not picked up a carry yet, and you got to figure Neo.Int takes theirs here and then just starts frantically banning them all out. Yeah. The PL, the AM. When Winter casts, he talks about this a lot, is, generally you just want to make sure you get at least one of each role. One support, one solo, and one carry, because otherwise it's too easy to counter your team in the second stage of the draft. But we will see if Neo.Int goes that route.
Yeah, the one thing that First Departure, the Undying pick is good as one of the, as I imagine a support to go with the Rubik. I guess Rubik can be a solid because it deters your opponents from going a hard carry. If they pick up the Anti-Mage or the Phantom Lancer, you can really punish them with some strong early to mid game Undying play. And if they don't go for a hard carry, then you're likely to get one of your own. They're going to go for the Lifestealer. That's a hero that would have definitely got banned out. I think it goes well against Undying, and it's not too sort of all in carry style play, like 4 protect 1 as if you'd picked Anti-Mage or Phantom Lancer.
And I think the last time I saw them play this, they ran Lay with it, and when they've had success with it, it's been in an offensive tri-lane. If I recall correctly, that's how they won their first game against Orange, that and the Nyx solo mid. We're not going to see the Nyx solo mid this time, but then they went to it again, and Orange completely shut it down, and this is going to be a game where it's a little bit harder for Lifestealer. Sure, he's a great counter to Undying in the mid game, but Undying is just almost impossible to kill in the laning stage. It's difficult to go aggressive against him in general. So we'll see if they do go aggressive with this Lifestealer. You don't have to. It's just one of the strengths of the hero is he's very good in offensive tri-lanes. He can create a lot of pressure. He's tanky and he does a lot of damage. So not putting him in the aggressive tri-lane, it doesn't waste his potential, but it does fail to use at least a decent chunk of it.
Yeah, and First Departure seem to be expecting it because they ban out 2 hard carries, Anti-Mage and Phantom Lance. So they're expecting Lifesteal to either be something like a solo, probably in the offlane as an offensive tri-lane or maybe a dual lane. But banning out these hard carries means they think Neo.Int are going to pick up another one. Luna, I was about to say, the logical choice once those 2 are banned out. So Neo.Int here maybe going to be sort of somewhat forced into running Lifestealer as a safe lane, unless they want to go for an SF again, but that just did not work for them last game.
Five carries banned. Five carries banned. And it's the other reason that it's kind of dangerous to draft this way is because teams now have 3 bans for the second stage. They used to have 2, and so it makes it a lot easier for that second stage of the draft to kind of counter what your opponents are doing. Let's see what Neo.Int does with their last ban. I gotta say, I want to point out, I really like the Weaver ban. Sure, he's somewhat squishy, but they're lacking stuns right now, and he's also very annoying to play against as a Lifestealer because open wounds is useless.
Yeah, I know it's interesting to see what First Departure have planned here because they're the ones who banned out most of the hard carries when they have no carry whatsoever in their line. They don't even have anything that has any semi carry potential. So they've maybe got another sort of unusual, unconventional pick like the Doombringer planned out here. Because if they'd want to go for a hard carry, they should have just not been banning them. They said, okay, Neolution, you guys can pick up another
10
carry, but we're going to make sure we
remaining.
get one ourselves. But by banning them all out, they're basically maybe they go for
5
something like a
seconds
Shadow Fiend
remaining.
if they want sort of a nice, strong range carry. But I'm thinking we may see something unconventional again.
Yeah, the Doom, I know you're mentioning the Doom as an example, but that particular hero, not really a good game for him if they want to send a mid, which it seems like they
Yeah.
still need the mid, because Queen of Pain, I mean, she already just, well, basically just destroys any melee mid, except for a very few, and Doom has very low armor, even easier to harass than most, but they go for it anyway. So let's see if he does go mid. He may be a safe lane farmer this game. Not sure if he'll actually be that mid hero like we saw last time around.
Yeah, last time around, we mentioned how Nyx does so well against the Doom, but they're actually pretty even on farm. I remember seeing Nyx was at like 23 CS when Doom was at 20, and he was just using the Crow to just bottle courier non-stop in the early game. So that's something he can also do against the Queen of Pain. And as long as he stays high HP, gets a point or two in Scorched Earth, Queen of Pain can't really kill him because by the
10
time you're like
seconds remaining.
level 6, level 7, you've already got about 900 HP. So it's not a hero Queen of
5
Pain can
seconds
solo kill,
remaining.
as long as you get the constant Bottle Crow regen, which is the only way you can really send in mid. But something which First Departure were quite happy to do last game.
I would really like to see Neo.Int, since they have two very survivable solos, do a little bit more smoke and roam ganky. We saw them go
Yeah.
for that one rotation towards mid, but it was just mistimed. The Invis rune ran out. They also didn't take the correct path, as you pointed out. Could have come through the tree lines instead of straight down the river. I'd like to see them be more efficient and also a little bit more aggressive with their supports. We'll see if they're able to, though, because they are up against Undying, and I mean, it could even be a Darkseer tri-lane. We always sort of assume he's a solo, but we've seen some teams run Darkseer in a tri-lane. He's very good at pushing the creep wave, and that makes it hard to farm under your tower. Plus, he can dive you quite effectively with Ion Shell, so we'll see. It could be a Darkseer tri-lane, but you never know.
Yeah, and I mean, something LGD do like to do with their Darkseer, but for First Departure, I mean, it could go multiple ways, like you say. And they ran the offensive tri-lane last game, especially with Undying. He goes well in the offensive tri-lane, maybe not with a Darkseer. Maybe we see him going safe lane here.
10
Shadow Demon
seconds
Jakiro,
remaining.
I mean, not the strongest of tri-lane. Sure, they've got this great
5
setup for Lifestealer to kill
remaining.
maybe a solo here, but in a 3v3 scenario, Shadow Demon and Jakiro aren't going to offer a whole lot of Razor. There's your unconventional
Radiant's
semi-carry.
team pick.
We're seeing a Razor pick, and this to me seems like the perfect offensive tri-lane hero. He's got the damage steal, which I think goes through Rage. I know it used to go through BKB. I'm not 100% sure how it interacts with
I'm
Lifesteal,
pretty
but I
sure
think you steal through Rage.
nothing breaks it now. I believe is the way
Yeah.
it works. I don't think I don't think you can cast it on magic immune units, but if you already have it
Yes.
cast, you continue to siphon their damage. I believe that's how it works. Someone in the stream chat will probably correct us if we're wrong
seconds.
about our
10
archaic mechanics,
seconds
but hey,
remaining.
you can't fault us too much. We never see Razor really, so
5 seconds
forgive us if we're
remaining.
wrong. But anyway, yeah, the big problem I have with these two supports is they lack damage. Shadow Demon, Jakiro, there's not enough burst there, and if you don't burst down heroes like Undying, they turn around and kill you. If you don't burst down Razor, he turns around and kill you. What they do have is Queen of Pain, but she's not going to be in the tri-lane, so they've really got to weather the storm early. They're going to be very defensive in this tri-lane. If they're not, I feel they're just getting dominated.
Yeah, and we're going to wonder maybe even if Neo.Int just say, well, we don't really want to fight you guys at top with that tri-lane. Let's just send our tri-lane bottom and just verse the Darkseer, basically. They picked Nature's Prophet last, which I guess... Oh, this is actually a good decision because they can send that to the offlane against the Darkseer if they're thinking it's going to be offensive tri-lane. And that's a hero that can TP in for the tri-lane versus tri-lane scenario. So they know they're up against a stronger tri-lane than theirs, so they get a hero that can sort of turn the tide slightly in their favor. And Nature's Prophet TPing in can be something which can be a bit of a difference maker. So I really like this last pick from them.
Yeah, and, well, let's introduce the players quickly. On the side of First Departure, we are going to have Thombi is going for that Doom again. Looks like he is expecting the Queen of Pain, so he picks up the early Stout Shield. Not going to be rushing the bottle this time with smart little adjustment to his build. We have the Darkseer heading to the offlane, being handled by Mean. Miracle on the Razor is going for the early rain of protection. I would expect to see that Basilius and a lot of pushing and pressure on the lane. Lubby on the Undying. And last but not least, Second Departure, that's cute, on the Rubik. They don't have a smoke, by the way, because these supports cannot really gank.
Yeah, they're just going to be looking to go tri-lane versus tri-lane, mano at bottom lane. And they're going to be up against the Shadow Demon of Hachiko, the Jakiro being played by Fox. You've got Ninja Boogie playing the Lifestealer. Mid lane, you've got the Queen of Pains in the hand of Blah, and then finally heading towards the top lane is Lei on the Nature's Prophet. He's going to have to really be very proactive helping out this bottom lane because, I mean, it's a completely random trial lane, but it's one that's going to be hard for this Lifestealer to deal with.
And the ward wars already begin. Boogie, I think no, actually Undying was behind the trees. I want to say they did not have vision of this Observer ward, but they should be a little suspicious. You always got to expect those lane wards. And let's see, actually, are there any sentries on the Illusion side? There are. On the Shadow Demon, wards are going to be important in this lane. Not as much as in some tri-lanes. We're not seeing that Keeper of the Light. But you definitely don't want to get jumped upon by the Shadow Demon. You don't want a big Ice Pad to hit multiple heroes. Especially for first Departures lane, because of their composition. They really got to make sure they have vision.
I love how there's like an entire warding metagame basically, like separate of the whole picking and strategy metagame. There's a entirely separate warding metagame where initially the conventional thing was to ward up in the lane as sort of close to the tower as you could. Then it got put closer down to the secret shop, and now we're seeing a ward like this coming out from first departure, and it's just all because of where they're expecting the sentries to be.
And there's a more sort of standard lane ward being placed. This is standard right now, this kind of area, maybe a little bit farther back over here. Let's see if it gets dewarded. For the moment, Lubby rotating towards the middle lane. He's trying to protect his sentry. Hachiko's here. Hachiko is going to deny this, and that's a nice victory. Although it's not... They could actually look to gank this with Shadow Demon Jakiro. You can go for a smoke gank. It's not going to be an easy kill on Doom, though. These are not the best smoke gankers, but if they want to, it is a possibility for them. And Lifestealer, quite survivable. One of his benefits as a tri-lane carry, he doesn't need protection constantly. You can leave him alone here and there if you want to go for a gank. So this D-ward could help them later on. Yeah,
I think the priority for Neo.Int will be this bottom lane. Even when they're leaving Ninja Boogie to take the lane on his own, they'll be looking to use the neutral pool to stack a bit, deny some XP from the first departure trial, and get some more farm and XP for their support heroes. I don't think they really want to spend time ganking a Doom who they may or may not kill. It's just better off to ensure that Lifestealer can get some slightly better farm and also just use this pool camp because it hasn't been blocked whatsoever yet. And I think First Departure know that there's going to be sentry wards coming into play, so they haven't attempted to just yet.
Yeah, this would be more like a level 3 or level 5 smoke gank. This is not what LGD would do with, you know, the Shadow Demon and the Chen go right away, or it's not like a Leshrac Shadow Demon. This is more of a right before that first set of wards, and maybe after. I mean, the ideal time to do it is clear the pull, do the double pull, and as soon as it dies, then you go and smoke, because that way you're being as efficient as possible, and the lane's going to start to push out anyway once the pulls are done. So that would probably be the best way for Neo.Int to do it, and what we should expect to see. But we'll have to find out. I mean, for the moment, we have quite a prolonged pause. Lots of shoutouts coming out. And
you're not going to troll me again and just like stop talking. Are you
trolled me? No, it's my mic. I think the cable's like kind of loose. I actually just pushed it. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think if I like tap it, sometimes it just stops working. I don't know. Get me a new XLR cable, that's what I
mean, speaking of metagames, we had the whole, like, warding and hero picking mega. I thought this was, like, some new casting meta shift where there's just, like, long periods of silence. I was like, okay, I'll go along with this. I've been away for so long that you obviously know what's up.
This is metacasting. This is casting about our casting and how it works and what's going on. That's how long this disconnect has been. But, everybody, this is game number 2. It's a best out of 3. Currently, Neo.Int is actually down 0-1. And really, in a very one-sided game overall, but it's not done just yet. We'll have to see whoever wins this. Do you actually know what third place prize is? Because I don't remember.
I think it's either around $200-300 with some additional hardware. I think there's like keyboards or mouses, some Neo.Int are the part sponsors for this event. I think some Neo.Int hardware, keyboards and mouses. So not bad, but obviously the prize pools in some of these Asian tournaments is slightly lower just because of there's less sponsor interest. But doing tournaments like this, watching and supporting tournaments like this, it only means we're going to be seeing bigger prize pools and bigger tournaments in the future.
Yeah, and that is worth mentioning. We had a great turnout for this event, and just in general with all the Asian tournaments we've been covering, which is not really about Beyond the Sun, but I feel it's much more just you guys showing your interest in Asian Dota, and it's great for the scene. We hope to see it grow even more. It's not just the Chinese who can put together some great games in the Eastern Hemisphere. And, well, this is the pushing tri-lane in action. They don't even have the Rain of Basilius yet. There is going to be some pulling, nicely done, and good positioning from Hachiko standing to the left of the creep camp. The only way they're really going to get a kill is if Rubik's able to telekinesis here while the static link is going off, at least for the early levels. And, well, we're not going to see that just yet.
Yeah, just disruption being used more defensively than anything. Shadow Demon just wants to make sure he's okay here. Gets an additional pull off here, but I think for the most part, First Departure are going to look to contest this. They don't want to have this pull doing any more damage than it should.
Oh, Ice Path catches two. Disruption still on cooldown. It's got a very long cooldown at level 1, 25 seconds. So you can't really use it multiple times in an engagement at all. And Miracle, not actually getting that much farm. He's only 3-1, Leicester's 4-0. This offensive tri-lane, they really need that Ring of Basilius. The one thing they're lacking is spam, though, because this is kind of a tri-lane where you want to push the creep wave and then dive them a little bit with the static link, with maybe the telekinesis going off at the right moment and the tombstone out, but they don't have the best heroes to push. So I feel the synergy isn't 100% there. We'll have to see if they can make it work.
Yeah, and Neo.Int, they get the D ward as well on that Observe ward, so that's going to help them out a bit as well and deny First Departure of some important vision to have in this tri-lane versus tri-lane. And now, well, I mean, they probably want to get the Bassering up. Maybe we're going to see Tranquil Boots on Miracle, that's the other option, but Bassering, I mean, there we go, Bassering it is. They want the mana because, I mean, being able to spam a few extra decays, the Fade Bolt as well is just so important in this tri-lane versus tri-lane.
Wow, and Lei. Look at Lei already. He's up to 10 CS against a Darkseer of all things. This is, especially a safe lane Darkseer, it's normally a very difficult matchup for a hero like Prophet. And here comes the Undying Decay spam. Will start it off, and Archico's going to hoof it out of there. They are attempting the double pull. They are at least disrupting the double pull, but you have to say Neo.Int is clearly winning this tri-lane. Doom is forced back into the jungle. Doom sitting decently when it comes to CS, but he's getting a lot of creeps denied. He's not in the lane. He's not controlling the runes. So Queen of Pade's winning this lane, and then top lane, Prophet is actually winning in CS by 4, not 3.
Yeah, I think it's partly like you say at bottom lane. The problem is the only initiation they have is this Rubik telekinesis. They haven't got any stuns, any slows to really follow that up. They've just got sort of this unorthodox, hard-to-kill tri-lane, but as long as Ninja Boogie can go in, get some decent farm, he's quite happy to have this tri-lane versus tri-lane. He's out farming Miracle for the time being, and he's not in a huge risk of getting focused down. He's one hero they can't go on. They're looking to initiate on either Jakiro or the Shadow Demon.
Let's see if they're going to make some movements. And that's the one issue with this tri-lane, is they really can't. They can't move that much. Rubik could try and gank mid, but Queen of Pay is not dying until you have Doom. Speaking of that, Queen of Pay, this may be our first blood. Blinking forward while the Shadow Strike's up. Doom's going to man up on this, and he's got Centaur Stomp. That's why he was in the jungle early. He was eating a Centaur. Blotto's now blinked, but he has that last scream, gets the kill. If Doom was just a little bit, if he had one more level, he may have been able to turn that around, but not able to.
Well, and he was also a bit caught by surprise by the Jewel Nail Talisman on the Queen of Pain, but meanwhile, bottom lane, Ninja Boogie's actually going to try going on the Rubik not Telekinesis. Ice comes in from the side, as well as a Nature's Prophet TP. This will be the end of the Rubik. Razor trying to fight his way out of this one, and considering how much damage it looks like he's stolen, this could be good for him. Is there a Tombstone? They're all caught in the Tombstone, but Miracle just going to get burst down. 2 kills go the way of Neo.Int, and this is the start they were after. This is where the Nature's Prophet comes in and really starts to turn things around.
And it's only a level 2 Tombstone, so it's not actually that hard to kill at this point. And, I mean, I was an Undying with like 8 zombies there, and it didn't matter. Yeah. They just absolutely destroyed them. It shows you that Undying is quite a level-dependent support, among other things. Oh, Ice Path's gonna hit again. So this lane's not going well, mid lane's not going well, because Queen of Pay got a first blood, and, well, in the top lane, Prophet, sure, Darkseer was farming and pressuring the tower, but Darkseer's not one of those heroes that can hit level 6 and just come save the other lanes. He needs a lot more than that to contribute. Yeah,
Darkseer just wants to farm and farm and farm, get the Soul Ring, and then start going towards probably a mech, and just get like level 10, 11, 12. He's not really going to be coming to early game fights unless there's a dive under a tower. But we're seeing the action happen slightly away from these towers, and First Departure are going to be very careful this bottom lane now. They've fallen behind early, and that hurts most as far as levels go. You want the levels on the Undying to get the additional points in Tombstone. Razor as well, you want some more points in the Static Link, and, well, Neo.Int, they've got the advantage there.
And meanwhile, Darkseer finds a solo kill on the Prophet. This is something they do need, is just to keep the pressure up, and it looks like he's going for a Midas. He hasn't spent any of his gold. It could be the early mech, though, if they want, but I don't even think they need the mech, because they're just not in any danger of anyone dying on this bottom lane. There's the Ice Path after the Soul Catcher, and Miracle's in a lot of trouble. This Razor just getting focused down, even with the decay spam. It just doesn't matter. There's not enough damage, and now one by one they're getting picked off. Blah's going for the Rubik. Meanwhile, it's going to be the Undying who falls, and this tri-lane is in total disarray. Queen of Pain has Blink, Ed Scream. Rubik does not have lift. Down he goes. Tri-lane's in an absolute pickle. The solos aren't really doing that well. This is looking very, very bad for Neo.Int, which probably means that First Departure is about ready to just go on a 20-0 streak.
Yeah, this is what happened last game. Maybe not to quite this extent, but there was about 3 kills, maybe 3 kill early lead. They got two kills in the solo lanes as well as a decent start to the tri lane. But Well, first departure, we have to turn things around now here, but the problem is this trial lane, I don't feel there's like a backup plan. If this trial lane gets behind, they're not a trial lane that can catch up or just play safe. They go back bottom. They're level 3 against the Lifestealer who's about to hit level 6. The supports on the Neo.Int side are level 5 as well. It's just a complete mismatch now at bottom lane.
Oh, a Surge Doom with Ion Shell. This is what we needed to see. Some movement around the map, and that Prophet is a very gankable solo. He's vacuumed into the Ion Shell. Down he goes. Doom hasn't even used Doom, and he's got a regen rune. He could instantly TP to one of these other lanes. I would love to see them set up a kill on that Queen of Pain with a telekinesis lift into a Doom, but it's not going to be possible now because there's 3 supports sitting mid, or 2 supports and the solo.
Yeah, smart by Doom. He doesn't actually use his ultimate, and now he may just stay around bottom, wait for Nature's Prophet to come back up, pop the regen room, look for another kill. No, he's actually going to run down river, get spotted running towards mid lane. So Neo.Int should expect this to come their way, not to mention Observer Ward protecting them around there as well.
It's still not looking particularly good for them because at this point, Razor's a hero that needs a good start. He's a momentum-based carry. He's not someone like Shadow Fiend who can catch up incredibly well. He's not a hero that scales particularly well. He's all about doing well in the laning stage, getting those early items, and just being tanky enough that you can tower dive and constantly static link. You have your ult flying. He's only level 5. Level 3, I was thinking of another hero. And he doesn't even have boots, so Miracle's useless, Lifestealer's free farming. It's really up to the Doom. The Doom and the Darkseer have to pull them back into this game. They're just not going to get any impact out of the Razor. And even supports like Undying, they're not the best at setting up kills. They're more about lane sustain and just pressure. So it's really just up to the Undying and the Darkseer. There's just nobody else who can have impact right now.
Yeah, it's really not looking good for them. We're seeing, well, the Zhao 8 build on this Nature's Prophet. He's going to TP bottom. We're look for this Razor kill here. Static Link going to steal all the damage, but it's not going to steal the Nature's Prophet, who's now got enough gold for an 8-minute mech. Doesn't even bother for the boots here, and this is actually really useful against the Doom, because if he goes looking for gank to Doom someone, you can still mech him and help keep him alive. And, well, this is going to be a tier 1 tower going down as well at bottom lane. Neo.Int just getting further and further ahead here.
They want this Doom, but they've underestimated the power of Doom. Blah is definitely... No, maybe not with the disruption. In fact, he may live yet, but he's dropping pretty low. They need a secondary Ice Path or Dual Breath. I think, no, he should die just to the Doom. Can they deny him? No, where's the deny? There's no deny. They're not able to get it in time. Just slightly out of brain. Now Darkseer comes in. Darkseer, goes for the vacuum at the cliff. Doesn't actually pull Jakiro up, but he can probably bring him down just with the Ion Shell. Has to dodge this Ice Path. There is no Ice Path. Now the Ice Path will fly. Nice juke. We're raining around the Rosie. For me, he's actually running because Ninja Boogie is journeyed all the way here to help Prophet with the early mech. That's the other thing, is I don't know if they've actually seen the mech. They should know he's the buckler in the headdress and that he's very close. He just completed it. And that means any thoughts of first departure fighting kills, even Doom, may not matter. If that Prophet comes in with the heal bomb at the right time, that Doom is wasted.
Yeah, and that's really the only way they can look for kills, and it's something that can be easily denied here. So, first departure going to have to play. They're going to have to wait for sort of some overextensions coming out from Neo.Int, because more than anything, the kills and sort of the farm difference, to me, it's just these really underleveled supports who need levels. Rubik, not so much, but a level 4 Undying at this point, he's just not going to be very effective. And the way first departure have to play now, very defensively, doesn't favor Undying. There's no real way for him to contribute or be that useful.
Yeah, Undying is not a hero you pick to sit back, stack camps, and farm. Undying is a hero that you pick to go kill things. Under the tower, dive it with an army of zombies, Walking Dead style. This is not Undying Dota. And it's not really Doom Dota either. Doom, sure, he can be very scary late game. He does farm quite well, but look at the way the Doom's built. It's that solo mid, ganking pressure Doom. He's gone for max level death. He hasn't been leveling up. Queen of Pain's gonna try to kill. The ult was not probably needed there, but just to ensure it, we'll throw it out. Why the hell not? Blah just having some fun. And it's really not looking good. And Doom may die here as well. Oh boy, he waddles right into a haste to Queen of Pain. The Doom will fly out, but Queen of Pain can just run away. And there is always the heal bomb for Prophet, so he can maybe turn this around. Archico only has a level 1 disruption, should not be able to get another one off anytime soon. Darkseer comes in, level 11, and he's actually doing a lot of damage. They've really overextended here. Down they go, but Queen of Pain's ready to come back in. That haste run's just, it's still up for a while, and they're still chasing. Down the Jakiro goes. Real big overextension there. Lifestealer was not in the fight. He's farming bottom. Gotta say, a little sloppy from Neo.Int.
Yeah, that's the kind of overextension first departure need, because 2 kills like that gives them levels. That's Undying up to level 5. Rubik gets up to level 5. They're getting close to these crucial level 6 ultimates. Another point in the Tombstone as well, and possibly some damage done to this tier 1 tower, they do need to be careful not to go too far. Tombstone going to get dropped to lots of TPs. I think they just leave the Undying for dead here. As Darkseid, I think he tried to surge him out. He needs to worry more for his own health. He's going to get out of there. And, well, first departure, they force the TPs. They also get the tower down to about half HP. I don't think that was a terrible loss for them, but for now, they need to be careful.
Yeah, I feel terrible. Not terrible losses aren't good enough. They need just clear victories, or at the best, solid trade-offs. So they got 2 kills, they stay around too long, they give up 1. You don't want to do that because, well, they already have the mech, so Neo.Int is easily going to be able to push. Their 5-man is actually quite decent. It's not an amazing 5-man lineup, but they do have just the early mech, which makes them very strong at pushing, as well as heroes like Jakiro, who are great supports for those early group ups, and Lifestealer, who can just be on the front line. So Neo.Int can get aggressive. They can start forcing down these outer towers. The tier 1 top will be the next objective once they go for it, and there's not a whole lot First Departure can do to stop it. Even the Tombstone is being brought down quite quickly in these fights.
Yeah, Tombstone is, I mean, you've got the decent right-click damage from, I mean, you've got 4 range series, you can just focus it down. You've got the mech to help keep you alive, and the Lifestealer just hits hard and fast. So it's not really the end-all, save-all for First Departure. Even when they get the levels, they'll have that level 4 Tombstone. It's not going to really solve all their issues for him. And speaking of level 4 Tombstone, it's not going to come at this rate if he keeps getting picked off. He just leaves his base. I mean, looking not to do some warding, just sort of venture off, provide some like personal map vision for himself, but gets caught out in the most random places. He's not going to be too happy with that.
No personal map vision for you. Doom's located at the high ground. He has Doom and Phase, which they can search him into initiate. But again, I actually, you know, the more we look at it and the way that First Departure plays their Doom, the more this early mech makes sense, because Doom is just not going to find solo kills, and that's what cost the Neo.Int in the last game, was just the Doom constantly finding pickoffs. With the mech, it just won't happen, and Queen of Pain now going for an Orchid. They're getting very fat on all 3 of their carries, all of them at about 5k net worth. It's like the mirror image of last game.
Yeah, it really is just a completely one-sided map control coming out from Neo.Int, and there's not really a whole lot First Departure can do about this. They've got the Darkseid mech up, but they're not really in a position to teamfight. It's just Darkseid who has the farm and levels, and they're going to lose their semi-carry in the Razor. He's going to get caught out bottom, and this is all that you need. Lifesteal to go in, initiate, and then they've got the Nature's Prophet follow-up. He provides the heal if there's any counter-initiation, but really easy pickoffs going the way of Neo.Int time and time again.
Doom getting a little cocky here. The Sprout is going to make his phase boots completely useless, and now he will turn around. Doom the strategy. I mean, he knows he's dead. He just wants to kill, but the mech, again, might not even be enough, and even if it is, they can always look to deny the Shadow Demon. He should be okay. Don't think he's actually going to need to be denied. Yeah, especially with the Prophet standing next to him. You do get that passive HP regen over time just for being near, coming from the headdress, so very helpful.
Yeah, and now with this Neo.Int, I mean, they can start pressuring some of these more outer towers. They've got the Queen of Pain. This is good. They don't just want to have all their heroes grouped up. Queen of Pain is top, doing some sort of solo farming pressure up against this Darkseid, slow him down, and Queen of Pain starting to build towards an Orchid Malevolent. So all that, the DPS, the pickoffs, you count someone, you can burst them down a lot quicker and ensure they can't get away with this Orchid, especially heroes like Darkseid, who do have that surge to escape.
Boogie. If he went phase, this would be even easier, but it just doesn't matter. Miracle's gonna melt. Man, we've not seen Miracle on his standard heroes, and it feels like he's been having quite the impact he's hoping for in this game. Mean TP's in, surges away, and then should be dropping one more auto attack. Not even needed. The Demonic Purge. The damage kicks in. Down he falls. Mid lane simultaneously double damage. Queen of Pain. GG. 15 minutes in. Neo.Int strike back.
Wow. They struck back and struck back very, very fast.
Yeah, that wasn't even a strike back. That was like a whip you around and then slam you into the wall, and then you're done. It's a choke hold, choke down, takedown. Less
than 15 minutes. I think First Departure are gonna, well, I mean, they're gonna look at this draft. The Razor pick. I don't mind the Razor. It was more with the Undying as well as the Rubik. They just didn't have the initiation they need. They need something with a slightly more aggressive initiation, maybe something like a Rubik Lina. They needed more actual burst damage and killing power. They didn't need the Undying there. It didn't really fit too well with the Razor pick. I like how they went to the Doom again, but like you say, it's not going to match up as well against the Queen of Pain mid as it does against the Nyx Assassin.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they're just picking heroes without a clear play on this game. They wanted to go. They wanted to go aggressive tri-lane, so they pick Undying, or they wanted to make sure they didn't get aggressive tri-lane, so they picked it. Whatever the reason was, but the synergy between the heroes was very lacking, and even the solos, the Darkseer versus Prophet was the one lane where Darkseer really should have dominated that lane, even harder than he did, but he did do pretty well. But aside from that, they couldn't have expected to get a lot of kills on the bottom lane. They maybe thought they could shut down Lifestealer's farm, but the early warding game assured that they wouldn't. Anyway, it's 1-1 now, so we reset. It all comes down to this game 3. You're watching the SEA League. The winner of this game does get some prize money and peripherals. The loser gets nothing. Stay tuned to find out who will be First Departure or Neo.Int coming up after this.